if the Russ of the first 8-9 years of his career can reemerge, then the Steelers have Super Bowl hopes written all over him. Flat out. The issue is, though, is now kind of 3 years running. His last year in Seattle, the 2 in Denver. Every year starts with okay, let's reset it. Russ was off. Russ, doesn't see the field as well sometimes, but he, and then we don't see the Russ of old show up, and that's the risk I think the Steelers are undertaking by saying you're the starter right off the bat. He takes way too many sacks, which for somebody at age 35, it's like you should know better. Fields takes too many sacks because at age 25, he doesn't yet know better. Okay. Yeah. And so that's the sort of thing I'm, just wondering, like, why wouldn't you give Fields every opportunity to show that the last 6-7 games of his career in Chicago is now him sort of putting the pieces together, which happens with, say, somebody who's in year 3 at age 25. That's the thing that I'm kind of wondering. So how does that work? Where you're like, you're the starter and you're backing up and letting it play out. Like, what are the mechanics of that, Lewis?
You know what? We all become kind of prisoners to our own preconceived biases. Okay, so with Russ, right, we're biased to thinking he's got to have some of it left.
Right.
He's got to have, look, I've seen it. I've seen him have those 4, 5, 6 second runaround plays and then he makes the dramatic. Look, we saw it against Buffalo, right? Up there in Buffalo this year, where he threw the touchdown, I believe it was to Cortland Sutton in the back left corner of the end zone, where you're sitting there going, I mean, damn, that doesn't look like Russ from Seattle. That's what I'm talking about. We've seen him play on schedule. We've seen what it looks like in a nice structured format, to where 1, he protects the football, 2, he makes quick reads, 3, he actually even throws the ball over the middle, which some people absolutely hammer him for, that he can't see in the middle of the field, that he has to throw it outside, that the reason why he does have so many off-schedule throws is because of the fact that it doesn't come to him very quickly. So we've seen him kind of do it in spurts, all right? But because of the fact that he has a long history and he is someone who is a borderline Hall of Famer, we give him the benefit of the doubt. We always believe, well, what once was can be again, because we've seen him do it. With Justin, it's, well, no Ohio State quarterbacks ever pan out. They all suck. Look, DJ Stroud had to fight this coming out in the draft last year.
Right.
All of the people right now who are engaging in revisionist history saying, oh, I love CJ the whole time. You're full of, you're full of it. Because how many people said last year, Ohio State quarterbacks are never any good. CJ didn't perform well in the cognitive testing before the comp, so he's going to be another one of those guys. And then now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I loved him the whole time. Oh, I knew he would be this guy. Well, with Justin, he's fighting those same things. When he came out in the draft, it was some of the same stuff. Now, that's not to say he didn't have things to improve upon, because of course he does. Of course. And you know what? Here's the other thing. Here's the kicker. People are acting like he walked into a Kansas City situation where had to sit behind Alex Smith and learn from Andy Reid and Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy, and he had this nice, stable, structured situation to where then once he got to play, it kind of took a nice, orderly progression, and they were able to coach some of those things out of him, like you were talking about, like holding the ball too long, getting through reads a little bit faster, being a little bit more efficient and smart in situational football, while at the same time accentuating those great legs that he has, the ability to extend plays, the rocket arm that he has, that he showed, all those good things he showed at Ohio State. Now, we know that wasn't the situation, but what we won't let go of, and by we, I mean the general consensus here when looking at this situation, what we won't let go of is what Russ was and what we think Justin is already. We won't let go of it. We have to see it first. But people don't want to even give Justin a chance to basically prove to them that he can be someone who was continuing to ascend in terms of his development. We don't even want to give him that chance.
Well, the question I have, Lewis, is how do you do it in Pittsburgh if you're going to give first team reps to Russ? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a great question.
I
don't know.
What happens if the Russ that struggles to get first downs, or the Russ that takes too many sacks, the Russ that has, does have those magic moments in the fourth quarter? Because I saw it too, calling his last game as a Bronco on Christmas Eve, where fourth quarter they needed points fast, and he just started playing fast, and he started playing, old Russ ball. I mean, it's there, but what happens if, you're 2-4? Does Tomlin just stick with Russ out of loyalty because he got there first by a week? Like, that's the thing I don't understand with some of the language.
I have a hard time believing that he would do that.
Right.
I really do. I have a hard time looking. I don't know. Look, maybe, Mike may be playing everybody, or the news, so to speak, coming out of Pittsburgh may be just, hey, look, man, we can tell them whatever. I'm not going to really tell him what I'm thinking. He may be thinking, listen, of course, we have to formulate a depth chart.
Yeah.
But we're going to give Justin plenty of opportunities here to go ahead and run this new offense that Arthur is putting in, which really should suit both Justin and Russ.
Right.
It really should accentuate both of their, of their skill sets while trying to minimize many of their weaknesses by leaning on the run game and leaning on the play action pass game, and let the best man win. I really do hope that those are the conversations that are actually going on behind closed doors, and that when, as Mike likes to say, when the rubber meets the road, that the best man does play, because they don't owe either one of them anything at all. And it does shock me to hear, whether it's true or not, the reports of Mike calling Russ to assure him that he's the starter, although that they're trading for Justin Fields. The one thing, though, like right now, I'm trying to figure out exactly what is going on is, look, listen, and I know people are going to say, look, stop being a homer, stop defending Kenny Pickett and all this other BS. But look, from what I know of Kenny Pickett, Kenny has never run from a challenge a day in his life. Okay? But something pissed him off to the point where he felt as though, look, I'm not necessarily, I don't believe, being really given a true chance to compete for this job. Otherwise, why the hell does he want out of there? Like, I think he felt as though people turned their back on him, and that this was going to be a situation where Russ would have to basically, like, absolutely stink up the joint in order for him to get back in there and really get a chance to earn the job again. And so, I don't know, maybe there are people in the Pittsburgh organization who really do feel that this is the perfect place for Russ, that Arthur Smith is the perfect play caller for Russell Wilson. But I would let this thing play out. I really would. And I hope, knowing Mike the way I do, and the time that I've spent with him, and and what I believe him to be in terms of a head coach and someone who was the ultimate leader and team builder, that he'll do what's best for this football team based upon what happens on the field, and not what Russ has done in the past, and not what Justin has done in the past, but what they do in the present as they're trying to take this offense to another level. Because really, Rich, there's a lot of good things going on with them offensively from a personnel perspective. There really is.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at it. A quarterback should be set up to succeed in this offense if Arthur can get it all going and they can keep all these guys together. Because he was a hell of a play caller when he was in Tennessee. He did wonders for Ryan Tannehill when he stepped in there after they benched Marcus. What was that, 3 or 4 years ago when he was in Tennessee? 5 years ago. I believe it was the 2020 season, I remember. 2019, 2020 season, around there. And if he can get these guys going, this should be a fun offense to watch. This really should be a run, deep shot, play action passing game. George Pickens should absolutely go nuts in this offense. And so should Pat Freiermuth. And the running game should really start clicking. And these quarterbacks, this should be an exciting time. Not one of those times where it's just like, well, we just have to wait for Russ to mess it up in order to see Justin. No, it should not be presented that way, and it should not play out that way, in my mind.
And I'm sure Tomlin will make sure that's not the case. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.